I'm Gary Vaynerchuk, and in this Podfast, I'd like to give you a summary of my full-length, 2-hour conversation with Stephen Bartlett of the Diary of a CEO podcast. This conversation is much different from when I'm on stage. I open up about my childhood, my weaknesses, and experiences that have brought me down at times. Most importantly, however, we talk about how incredibly resilient humans are, and how anyone is able to overcome adversity, build confidence, and even become a source of inspiration for others. Here are 7 key takeaways from my conversation with Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO podcast. Key takeaway number 1, my childhood experiences shaped who I am, especially the feelings of gratitude and guilt. As I reflect on my childhood, I've gained insights about myself, mainly my need to be admired, my need to be a superhero. From being the eldest brother to being a business leader, I've always felt this strong drive to do things for others and make them proud. This mindset extends from my family to my employees, and even to my personal trainer. One of my most profound relationships is with my sister, who was the first person, apart from my mother, to cheer for me, to admire me. As I got older, I found my happiness linked to doing things that make others happy. Even my drive to improve my health was not just for me, but to make others proud. Another thing I'm trying to understand is the role of candor in my life. I consider myself great at it, especially when I'm speaking to a crowd or on a podcast. But one-on-one, that's a different story. Emotion tends to get in the way, and I struggle with that. But the most revealing thing I talked about is my realization that a lot of what drives me is gratitude and guilt. I feel blessed and fortunate for the opportunities I've had and the situations I've overcome. It's an obsession with self-esteem, not delusion, that fuels my motivation. I was able to turn my experiences into my drive, creating a balance between deep confidence and accountability. Key takeaway number 2, let your experiences build your confidence, but don't become delusional. My mother played a crucial role in building my confidence. However, it's crucial to avoid delusion, to understand that while you can be anything you want, it doesn't guarantee financial success or being the best at it. I think more people will choose to earn modest incomes doing what they're passionate about, and that's okay. The second point I made was that you can't solely rely on one source for positive reinforcement. It was the rejection I faced when I was out trying to make money, washing cars, selling lemonade, or shoveling snow that played a huge role in my growth. My mother was my cheerleader, but the world, the market, was my coach. I also emphasized that it's important to reinforce the right things. My mom praised my kindness, which I believe is just as important as my entrepreneurial spirit. I'm both a successful entrepreneur and a genuinely nice person. It's these dual energies that define me. Lastly, I don't let criticism from those who don't really know me get to me. They might see a fraction of who I am and form judgments, but I'm okay with that. The key takeaway here is to know your worth, keep your passion ignited, remain grounded in reality, and let the world refine you, not define you. Be nice, hustle hard, and build a life that sets your soul on fire. Key takeaway number 3, people will criticize you, hurt you, and knock you down, but you have to get up and keep going. There was a time when I was targeted in a medium piece and was accused of inheriting my dad's liquor store, a point that never fails to touch a nerve with me. It hurts because I actually dedicated a decade of my youth, the prime years of my life, to build my dad's business from $3 million to $65 million. Despite this success, I left with nothing and started VaynerMedia in a conference room, earning never more than $120,000 a year. So when accusations like this come my way, it's painful. However, I don't dwell on it for long because I understand that some people may not consume my message due to one person's negative perspective. I am deeply driven by leaving an impact and having the opportunity to help make the world more about love. To see this opportunity taken away due to false narratives is philosophically crushing. Yet, in the grand scheme of things, there are bigger problems, and I'd rather take the hit than have anything happen to my parents. It keeps me grounded. I also reflected on my career and the different phases of my life. I labeled my 20s as a time to taste everything, my 30s as a time to refine those experiences, and my 40s as an evolution of that refinement. I am excited and, in the most positive way, scared of what I will accomplish in my 50s and 60s. Key takeaway number 4, practice extracting the positive things in life to build a positive mindset. Let's talk about privileges, and not just the ones society typically spotlights. Some people talk about having privileges when it comes to the color of their skin, but I think people who are attractive are privileged. Yeah, I said it, attractive privilege. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it. It's a game changer. But the number one privilege in the universe is being able to make yourself content, satisfied. Having a naturally positive mindset is a luxury. And listen, my opinions, insights, and advice aren't gospel. Don't listen to me, think for yourself. The real value lies in your own self-awareness. You gotta grasp what resonates with you, what doesn't, and why. Many people are not self-aware, which is why I talk about it so much. I even made a V-Friends character I'm particularly proud of. Self-aware hair. For the next 50 years, I'm on a mission to make self-aware hair more famous than yours truly. So what should people do to build a positive mindset? Here it is. Keep your eyes and ears open, listen to everything, and try to extract what's positive and useful, and dismiss what's negative. But keep it grounded in practicality, not, if I can dream it, it will happen, woo-woo. Lean into things that are positive in your life, like your grandfather and podcasts, and lean away from things that are negative, like your so-called friends on social media that are triggering your insecurities. Cut out an hour of negativity in your life, add an hour of positivity. Rinse and repeat until your social media feeds are beaming with sunshine. Start today. That's the Gary V way. And remember, don't be me, be you. Key takeaway number 5. If you want to win in the business game, first know what you're in it for. What's the why? If you're dreaming of being an entrepreneur, diving headfirst into the deep end is the best way to discover if you've got what it takes. Look, I've made a ton of mistakes, and that's okay. No one's perfect. But always ask yourself, what are you in it for? Is it because you want a mansion? Is it because you want to buy expensive wine? Now, don't get me wrong. It's natural to want stuff to show the world that we're winning. We all do things to communicate our status. But it's changed, right? Nowadays, we tear each other down as a form of status. Whether it's being the most this or the most that, we're constantly aiming to be more than the other person. And that's damaging because it's not just hurting our credit score, it's hurting other people's feelings. We need to remember there's one team, humans. Our anger should be directed at problems, not people. Sports teams? Fine, I get it. But let's not carry that rivalry into our everyday lives. If you're tearing down others, it's a reflection of your own unhappiness and insecurity. I know what you're thinking. I'd rather cry in my Ferrari. But what if I told you that I've met a ton of people with unlimited resources who are lonely, unhappy, or even suicidal? That's the truth. So the thought of endorsing any other direction seems like the least authentic thing I can do. Buying material things or working until 2 a.m. to get affirmation from others, that system's broke, trust me. And for you aspiring change makers, I get it. You want to change the world, but what exactly do you want to change? Do you want to be the type of person that's known for changing the world when they clap at you? You might desire the money, the fame, the accolades, the followers, but that's a vulnerability if it's not balanced. Key takeaway number 6. My dark side is I'm competitive to an unhealthy extent. We all have our dark side. It's an integral part of who we are, often tied to our brilliance. For me, this dark side manifests in an extreme competitive streak that, in the past, led me to literally punch holes in the wall when I lost at Madden 94 in my dorm room. It wasn't about the loss itself, but about the drive to win and the feeling that comes with it. Yet, I've found as I've gotten older, there's been an evolution. The desire to win has transformed from a singular focus on personal victory to wanting to celebrate others' wins too. Consider my lifelong dream to buy the Jets. I've started to realize that demonstrating joy at someone else achieving my dream and highlighting the journey rather than the destination might have a bigger impact. This is winning in a different way. Interestingly, I've always had a strange relationship with losing. Part of me liked it. Losing made me want to get back in the game, to try again. It built tenacity, self-esteem. I was even more intrigued by the process and the game than the end result. I stopped following the Rangers and the Yankees after they won championships. Now I see, at 47, it's not about the trophy, it's about the game. It's about the process. It's about the journey. It's about the fight. Key takeaway number 7. Communication changes frameworks. Inspire others with uplifting content no matter what. At the beginning of our conversation, I said that my childhood experiences shaped who I am. While I do believe that the first 10 years of a person's life are incredibly formative, I also believe that you're capable of overcoming any negative experience in your life and of becoming inspiring to those around you. There are extraordinary amounts of people that are bringing joy to the world that had alcoholic, depressed, bipolar, or violent parents. My mother, Tamara Vaynerchuk, my hero, was born in the Soviet Union in 1955. She faced unimaginable adversity, lost her mom at 5, her dad went to jail for being Jewish, but she didn't let that define her. She built me to be who I am today, just as she built herself. It's not about the hand you're dealt, it's about how you play it. If you decide your past defines you, then you've lost already. But remember, there have been billions of examples of people who've turned adversity into advantage. You've got to taste everything for yourself and create your own worldview. And when you create a worldview that is inspiring and uplifting, create content and shapes the minds of young ones. Content that empowers and influences positively can change the societal framework. I truly believe that communication is the boat we all need to get on collectively for a better future. Let's all get on this boat, folks. I'm Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'd like to thank you for listening to this Podfast summary of my conversation with Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO podcast. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. See you next time.